Make sure these are on. Are these on? Okay. All right.
Apparently we're live.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming to Sexy Freedom Media podcast episode number 15. It is... we are back in the studio.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But we are here.
We're learning because we've got two cameras in front of us, so we're trying to learn how to do this correctly. And so, by the way, my name's Helen Edwards, author of Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, the book that is on the rise to becoming a best-selling author, with my co-host,
NitaB. Welcome, you guys, and make sure you check out her link.
Yes. All right, so let's jump into the topic today. We've got some really cool things to talk about. It's a very, very important subject that we've been wanting to discuss actually for a while now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that she brought this up. So we're going to get into mentality changing. What that pretty much means is we're going to go into comparing. We're going to go into competing. We're going to also talk about how we can celebrate each other and ourselves as well as commit. So this is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, so let's jump into the first thing, which is comparison, which has been also said is the thief of joy.
Wow.
Let's discuss that a little bit more because on a personal level, for all of our listeners and watchers out there, or viewers, or watchers.
our Sexy Freedom Media.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm going to start laughing and
Meteors.
I'm not stop.
All right.
No,
yes.
but comparison, it's huge. It's okay, so I've got my personal views on it, and I know you do as well, but
right.
we have similar views on it. So let's talk about it because it's really big. It's like a fire out of control right now.
Oh my gosh. So I know for me lately, I've been doing this thing where I've been comparing each other or comparing others to myself and saying that I'm not good enough because I don't have what they have, or I'm not strong enough because I'm not at this place in my life yet. And it's just been a downward cycle. It's not been good. To a point where I had to have a couple friends tell me, hey, what are you doing? Your life is amazing. You are beautiful and you are worthy. So step into that light and stop letting it get snuffed out. So,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, godsend, right?
Comparison is, it can be both a positive and a negative. And I think that when you come to awareness of what comparing is doing for you, instead of taking advantage of your soul and your spirit and just sucking you dry, there's a lot of great things you can do with comparing.
Right.
And I'll use myself as an example. I'm really competitive. I really don't know which camera to look at, so I'm kind of glancing at both. This one, I think. Okay. When I am comparing, I always question my intention of why I'm doing it. And if it is going to drive me to become better, do better, and I'm using it more to help me get ahead in business and self-improvement, compared to who I was and to who I am now and where I'm trying to go with myself, then I think that comparing is a really imperative thing to implement in my life and use at that moment.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So I was using comparing as a way to like get myself to the next level because I saw other people doing the same thing that I wanted to kind of mimic and I wanted to have as my mentor. But then it got to a point where it just started to crash in a different way. And I was seeing the bad side of it. You know, I do see it as a good thing if you recognize that you're using it for a good tool. But otherwise, if you just keep sitting in it in a negative place, then it starts to take its toll and it doesn't become anything that's interesting anymore. It's just bad.
Right. And definitely on that, because you can sit there and you can wallow in what you don't have or what you're not, quotation marks, not already, or what other people have, the others have versus what you have. Right. And that's when comparing can drain you and it can become very toxic. And it's like worry. It starts off like a little seed of disgustingness and grows.
Yeah.
And makes you start looking at your friends, your closest people, your family members, and people that you admire, and starts turning them really ugly in your view because you're doing so much damaging by comparing.
Yeah, that is so good. I mean, and the last thing you want to do is turn on your community of friends. the
Yeah.
people that are there to support you through good and bad, you know?
Right.
And all because your perception got changed for a little bit because of what you decided to allow in. At that point, that's where you have to be strong enough to say, you know, enough is enough.
Right. And let me ask you something. So what happens if you find out somebody's comparing themselves to you?
Well, you know, it's just like, wow. First of all, thank you. I'm like that, you know, I'm going to humble myself and understand why you would do something like that. But I'm also going to tell you that we're at the same level. We're both normal women. We want to do great things in our lives. And maybe those avenues look a little different, and that's okay. But I'm going to invite you to say that, you know what, you're not alone. We all do this together, and that we should come out of this doing this together. So it's never something where it's just like, oh yeah, you're right, I am better than you. It's not like that at all. No, I'm going to invite that person to understand, like, we're imperfect, but we're so perfect to be able to go through this imperfect path together.
Yes.
You know, like, we're showing up for each other, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Something that I found out some people were comparing themselves to me, and I thought, oh my God, if you guys only saw my bedroom, like, my clothes, they need to be folded. Okay. I got health issues up the yin yang. Okay. Let me tell you, you don't want to be comparing yourself to me. What my success has been through much suffering, much sacrifice. And there's a lot of things that I've put on the line and a lot of risks that I've taken to get to the point that I'm at. Sorry. To get to the point that I'm at. And the bigger risk that I'm about to take to get to where I want to go. And it's hard to compare yourself to somebody like that, which is like me, because maybe you are not able to take those risks because of your circumstances at this moment. Maybe you are later, but maybe not right now. So don't compare yourself to me at all. I ask you, unless it's for, you know, what I mentioned earlier, to in a competitive way that's going to compel you forward into a better person, and then you can thank me later.
Well, it's we all show up to our goals differently, right?
Yes.
We can all help each other get to our goals, but we are going to show up to it differently. We're giving these visions for a reason, and that's why every person that receives something has an individual path to their goal and to their vision. So it's never going to be the same like somebody else's. What Helen does, if I try to go after her and do the same thing, it's never going to work out, and you're just setting yourself up for failure. So how about we don't do that?
Or you can try your best to do that, but you'll have results, but they're going to be the results that you want, because you're going to learn through that trial and error what you want to do and how you're going to do it and make that, you know, your flavor, your vibe.
Right. I'm just not good at replicating somebody else.
Right.
I'm good at making myself move forward and, you know, positioning myself to move better. But, you know, I know that now. And now I look at everybody else and I say, that's great for you, and that's great for her, and that's great for him. But what I see myself doing and what you've taught me or what others have taught me, I go, okay, I'll take that and I'll make it my own shape. And I'll bring it into my own character. And I think that's where stands strong.
Hell yeah. So what do you do when you find yourself comparing? Because we all do it. We all got that comparison that's the negative and it's hurting us. So what happens when you find yourself in that place?
Well, you could take some easy steps. You can actually just kind of stop and tell yourself, hey, cut that out. You need to cut it. But you also need to just be aware. When you are able to be aware of those moments, you give yourself the chance to choose if you're going to go down that path and allow it to spiral more, or if you're going to change your route. So those are some great tips into it. What do you think?
No, those are great. I know for me personally, what I do is social media is where I probably find my my issues with comparison, when I'm seeing people who I admire and I feel like I'm never going to get to where they're at. And then I start beating myself down, and then it only lasts, back in the day, it used to last a long time for me.
Right.
I mean, it spiraled me, but now I've learned how to control it and use it, like I said, in a more competitive way. But sometimes, especially when my hormones are off, my period, you know, my female hormones are off, it definitely can attack me more. And that's when I tell myself, oh my God, shut it all down. Shut it all down. You don't need to be on social media right now if you're going to be in this mindset. You don't need to be comparing yourself to anybody. You don't need to, go and like everybody's pictures and, maybe this is life. Like, live in the moment, get out of the virtual world for a second, step out of it. And when you're in the right mindset, maybe you can step back in. But right now you're not, and this is unhealthy. And if you're beating yourself up, that's because you're allowing it to happen because you are playing in the virtual world when you're not supposed to be in there right now at this mindset.
What she's saying is we're all adults and we need to be accountable. What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Teenagers too.
What?
Yeah, kids too.
That's right. We all need to be accountable. That means we have to be accountable for our emotions. We have to be accountable for our perceptions. We have to be accountable for our reactions. All of that goes back to you. And the good thing is there's a way to get through it. Yay. I know, right? It'd be so cool. We could do like a challenge on whatever social media site, but like call out other women for how great they are. Instead of always just saying like, oh, this is what I did today. Call out other women for helping you get through something.
Yes.
Or call out other women because what you see them doing when they're designing their clothes and they're doing their hair and then their makeup's always on point, or, maybe they always got the kids looking sharp or something like that, or they got food for their kids. Who knows? But you just call them out, and that way you can give them a little love through social media too. Maybe we can start doing that and stop comparing.
Yes, definitely.
New challenge.
All right now.
All right. So we want to also go over some other things.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
We talk about competing. And I kind of like this. I like competing. I'm not a person that gets all riled up for competing. But, I'm like a secret person.
Okay.
When we do a competition, I'm not always the first one to say, yes, me.
Yeah.
But I'll see what other people are doing, and I'll see if I can do it better.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like that. You know what? That's really real right there, because I think a lot of us do that.
Yeah.
See, I'm the person that will jump up and say, I'm going to do it, but I'm also the person that when the sound horn blows, I sit back and I'm like, let's watch and see what happens, because I'm creative and I want to see in what way I can tweak it just to a little bit to see if I can do it better, like how you just said.
Yes.
I love that. There's nothing wrong with that, because we're all competing in some way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But competing can also be a negative too, when you start putting others down to build yourself up.
Right.
And, I don't want to say that everybody does it all the time, but everybody does it every now and then, subconsciously,
Yeah.
It's just the competitive primal savages in us, to be honest. Like, we come up from a lineage of warrior type people, and it's always been tribe versus tribe, and now we're at a place where we're trying to find unity in this world and make this world a better place by doing that. And in saying that, it's okay to have that competitive edge, as long as you're not
being nasty with it. Don't be nasty, y'all.
Don't be nasty.
Don't do that.
Yeah, because you don't know what somebody's going through.
No, you don't. And they could have a similar story to you. And how would you feel if somebody else did that?
Yeah.
So just don't be nasty.
But
just
be competitive stories. And have fun.
Yes.
And honestly, if you can't help but be nasty with somebody else who's nasty, so the both of you can handle the nastiness. And be nasty back and forth to each other, where you're strong enough to take it and then go have like a beer after or something.
I was about to say.
I'm not condoning alcohol. I'm just saying you can go have a drink after, and cheers to that nastiness.
Oh my gosh, right?
I just want to say we're nasty like a bunch of times. I love that word.
Right. Because there's been plenty of times when we be like, oh, I'm starting to slur my words here, but where I've been like, all right, it's funny to me. Y'all don't know it yet. But anyway, so there's been something I've been wanting to be real petty about, right? And I said, well, you know what? I'm only classy when I have a glass in my hand.
You're glassy.
So when it's over wine, I can be as petty as I want. But when that wine's done, I got to snap back to reality and be like, okay,
back to reality.
Let's be a big girl now. But competing is good. Competing is good, especially if you want to be petty sometimes.
Yeah. So if you're going to be out there competing, do it mindfully.
Yes. I'm going to make that a shirt. All right. So we have another mentality I want to talk about.
And what's that?
The win mentality.
The win mentality. Okay.
Yes. I want to do this when, or I'm going to do this when, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, when. Girl, I thought you were saying when. I was like, go for it. When. Yes.
When.
Yes. When the... Okay, so the best way to explain the when mentality from what I think you're talking about is it's kind of like a rope along a binge, what is it called? A bungee rope?
Bungee cord?
Bungee cords, yeah. It's like a big bungee cord that's tied up to who you are trying to get out of, that like old outfit of who you used to be to where you want to go. That's tied up to. And it's almost like you keep saying to yourself, I'm going to do that when, and you have the bungee cord on you, but you're like, I really, really want it. And you're running in place, trying, and using all that steam and energy. And that word when, all you got to do to break off that bungee cord called when is just undo it.
Oh, snaps. What? You mean only have to do one thing, and that's take off the cord.
Yeah.
Release yourself. Fly a little bit. And just don't stand there imagining what could happen.
Right.
Get it done. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I'm very careful with my words. I try not to say, I'll do it when. I try not to say that. If you catch me doing that, though, put a quarter in my bucket.
Maybe I could do something like that.
Every time I say it, though.
I'm going to send you one of those little pictures. And be like, what'd you say? Sipping on tea? Yeah, I had a couple win moments. But, sometimes I'm using my win moment for like now, okay, financially, sometimes there's a win moment. But you have to be strategic and making sure that you're knocking out every single milestone to hit that win. But when we get lazy, I think that mentality comes in a little bit more because we say that we're going to do it so everybody else can hear it. But inside, we're saying, I'm not ready to do that yet. We're just putting it out there to everybody else that we can be capable of doing that. But inside, we really don't think that we can step up. We're just not ready to go into that moment.
Right.
That's sad. That's really, really sad.
But you can get ready. And that all it takes is really just putting your feet on the ground and opening your eyes.
Yes.
And like I've said to a lot of people in my retreats, a lot of participants in my workshops, is that if you just take a second step back and look at not your stuff in the external world, but look at your internal world for a second, the fact that you have phalanges, I think these are called phalanges. Any scientists out there? But fingers, you've got hands, you've got arms, you've got legs, you've got a voice. I used to work with a lot of kids that had special needs, and it just, broke my heart. But seeing them break through their own obstacles really inspired me to not have excuses, because I've got a great brain. Maybe it's got some issues, but it works functional. I'm able to use my voice. I'm able to use my hands and my feet and go when I need to go, do when I need to do. And that inspires action for me, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have bigger challenges to do what I'm easily capable of doing. So instead of saying I'll do it when, because sometimes, like you mentioned, there is boundaries to just not react and move forward spontaneously, or compulsively is a better word for it. So maybe instead of saying I'll do that when, just make sure you put it in your calendar and say, I'm actually going to do that, but on this day.
Exactly. Set a date.
Yeah, set a date.
And then allow that to come at you with more truth, Because when you set that date, you're saying, okay, I have to prepare for this. My name is on the line to get this done. Or
say I'm planning on it. I'm planning on it.
Okay.
And, one thing that I do say, I'm planning on it a lot, because I like to stay flexible. So it doesn't make me feel, if it goes on my calendar, it's going to happen, unless I'm really, really sick, which has happened. Then I got to cancel, which I hate doing that. But if it goes on my calendar, more than likely it's 99% chance of happening. But if I say I'm planning on it, that just means that I'm making room for flexibility just in case.
Yes, that's really, really good. I remember there being a moment where we were talking about, the win happening for your book, right? And then all of a sudden it was like everything is transpiring. It's all coming together. You have a logo, you had a book cover, you had a publisher, you had an editor, things like, I mean, the build up to this was a bit slow.
Yeah, it took 5 years.
Right.
And it's moving a lot more faster now. But one of the things that I've been doing in the past probably couple of years is just saying, don't think, do. Don't think, do. Because if you start thinking, you're going to overthink. Because I'm a Virgo and I'm very analytical. And it actually being really analytical, getting in your own head causes a lot of anxiety. So that can hinder me from making action happen. And one of the things, I feel like I'm on a fast track of making shit happen right now because I do a lot of go, go, go.
Yeah. Now that you've lived in this action moment, right?
Yeah.
Have you had anything come at you that you're just like, I don't know why this is happening to me when I've got all this other stuff planned?
Like?
I mean, like any type of experiences. I want to say anything that's happened to you spiritually or to your body, to your mind, like any shifts.
Yes. So there's a big shift happening in my life right now. I feel like I'm saying the word shit, but I'll use that too. There's a lot of shit going on. If you've read my book, you know that I had a lot of beliefs that I stood by for many, many, many years. And now that I'm coming into more of a woman of higher esteem, higher love for myself, and knowing what my purpose is at a more graceful level. I feel like a lot more health issues are coming in, not just because my age, but I'm very healthy. I eat clean. I actually stopped drinking a lot, and it's almost like everything's had a reverse effect.
Yeah.
One of those things is that I had an anxiety panic attack out of the blue, out of nowhere, and I didn't tell anybody about it. And I thought it was going to have to send me to the hospital.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. I was happy. Everything's been great. I mean, I had no idea why it came about.
Right.
And it really scared me because I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. And I thought, honestly, it was going to last for a few minutes. It turned into hours.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a full day. I mean, it took me out. It beat me down. And there was a moment where I started to get super sad. And I thought to myself, well, if you get sad, are you going to get depressed? And I was like, no. Like I talked to myself like that. Like, no, I'm not going to get depressed. I got this. And I did. I handled it. And I thought, okay, tomorrow morning, if I wake up better,
right,
I'm going to knock the shit out of life.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go out. We're going to throw some blows.
Right.
Like, you're not taking me out unless you take me out.
Right.
So the next morning I woke up and I felt amazing.
There we go.
And I did met with my business partner, and we killed it. We killed the game and felt like I was on fire, and I've been on fire ever since. However, I was thinking about the whole shindig, like, how did that happen? I was trying to figure it out why, and I ended up going to sound healing, and I felt a lot of signs come through during that sound healing. And one of those things was that I feel like my spirit is, like I said, I'm coming into my own right now.
Right.
And there's one thing to have your flesh being all fleshiness and into this world and all about you and all the material things,
right,
and all about the ego, she-go.
Right.
But when your spirit is getting bigger than you are, which is its natural state to get that way.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to start poking through your skin. It's going to say, I want out. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to soar. And I'm ready to lead the way rather than you always leading the way.
Right.
And I'm big on, hashtagging trust the process.
True.
So I realized that's probably it. I think that there is a fear of being so big and being so purposeful and being so powerful, which I truly believe is my purpose, to help others. And that it just hit me like, okay,
Yeah.
it's okay to be afraid because fear is there to protect you.
Yeah.
But your spirit is there to make sure you live the best fucking life possible. And that's what I just felt happen and is happening. So
that is so great.
Yeah.
It's like when you understand that purpose that you're going into, you know, you understand that level that you're achieving, and it's all starting to make sense. There will be things that fight back. And, you know, there might be some people that call you crazy, but there's also going to be some mental or some physical changes that you'll be going through. You know, your body might react against you. Your mentality might tell you that you're crazy. Fear is going to come in and say, no, we like to be comfortable, remember? No, we like to stay around these people because they're more like us. But your spirit is going, no, honey, we need to change, and we're going to change. That spirit is bigger than your comfort zone.
Yes.
You know? And
Yeah.
I know something that Lisa Nichols spoke on. She talks about how success is leaving you clues, and you just need to be there to pick them up. I mean, come on,
Love
right?
You, Lisa Nichols. Yes.
She's such a powerhouse, right?
I was listening to her actually, and she said, she was talking about saying yes, and I was
Yes,
like,
yes.
I say yes all the time.
yes.
I felt like I had to change it all of a sudden. And I was like, don't
Yes.
compare, Helen, don't
CC.
compare. Love, you know,
Yes.
follow the greats.
Yeah,
You want to be great, follow the
great
greats.
example. I
Yes.
love listening to her podcasts and videos on YouTube, by the way, if you guys want to check any of her stuff out. But she dropped a couple great things, and I remember having a conversation with you about the panic attack, and I just thought, man, you're going through spiritual warfare right now. You know, your body is like, no, but your spirit's like, oh, I'm fighting back and I'm stronger than you.
Yeah, and it's going to happen to you when you are going through growing pains, when
Yeah.
you're changing and shedding your old skin of who you once were. And I've definitely changed a lot since I've written the book and who I am in that book.
Right.
I was just reading it the other day, and I was laughing my ass off because I was like, I can't believe I wrote that. But then I thought, sounds like me.
That's the same thing I say when I read your book. And I read her book, I'm like, I can't believe she wrote that. And I'm like, okay, but it sounds like her. It sounds like Helen. So, you know, it
Right.
doesn't surprise me.
Right.
But at the same time, it surprises me. It's very crazy. I love
pick
it.
it up.
And I truly do want to celebrate your success here. You know, like I constantly, every single day, I think that's important. And I hope you're celebrating yourself too.
Let's talk about celebration.
Yes.
Yeah. Because so back in the day, celebration to me was going out with my girls, getting buck wild, drinking, having a blast. And trust me, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was celebration to the max, and it was amazing.
It was so good.
However, now that life has kind of changed up a little bit, you know, I know you've got a young son, and I've got business,
Yeah.
work,
Older son.
health issues. So it's not always like, oh, we can go out and go buck wild anymore.
No.
So how do we celebrate ourselves now
Right.
as the women we are today?
Well, I mean, honestly, like you said, we share with each other. You know, maybe we're not set up to go out, but we go to each other's houses and we talk about our stories, and we talk about how we're failing in a couple things, but our friendships remind us that we can fall forward, and maybe it might be some cushion down there, and maybe it's going to be super hard, and we're not going to like that, but we get to communicate with each other, and that is what makes our time, and we're so grateful for it.
Yes.
You know, I know we got plenty of friends that would just shout a yes to that. Sorry. Or, you know, and just be like so thankful for our friendships and how we can be raw, and the reminder that we get for each other just to enjoy life more and more each day.
Right. Absolutely.
I love it.
I celebrate when I get up in the morning. I have my I am
Yes.
by my door,
Yeah.
where I repeat it every day. I start with my name is to remind myself who I am.
Right.
And then I go through my I ams of, you know, who I feel I'm meant to be, and
Right.
where I do definitely see myself and who I am already, just at a more high esteem. So I go through that, my affirmations, and then I put on some Mexican music, some Espanol,
Key music. I'm just kidding.
or some oldies. I love oldies in the morning. Something
Yeah.
my dad brought me up on, some 50s, 60s music.
There you go.
Some Jailhouse Rock by Elvis, or some rap music. I get into that, you know, and I just put on music, and I just literally start grooving in my mirror.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, you bad. You know? And I do that and I look so cute. I do. I wish you guys can see me. My hair's all messed up. I got the big jammies on. I smell so like amazing. Like my pillow just is rocking the smell of sleep.
Yep.
I look cute. I'm a cute cuddler with my pillow.
Oh
Anyways,
my
I can
gosh.
get into that later. I'm just having dreams while I'm
Go
sitting
back
here.
to celebrating.
So I celebrate in the mirror for a quick second. Even if I feel like shit in the morning, where I'm exhausted, I just tell myself, fake it till you make it. And guess what? As soon as you start moving your body, you really do feel better. Another thing I do is the morning ritual is so important. I take showers, and I got this from both Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins. Is that Mel Robbins? I believe, yeah. Who talked about getting in the shower and then at least at the end of the shower putting on icy cold water.
Yeah.
And I do that every single day, and I love it. It feels amazing.
It is a blast, but as soon as you get through it, you're like, oh my gosh, I just did it.
You feel awake and alert, and that's the best part about it. You can actually think a lot better, and it's healthy for the skin, the eyes, everything. So I do that. Another way I celebrate myself is I play music in my car.
Yes.
I watch podcasts or listen to podcasts all day while I'm working, and I fill my mind with success because it's a way of celebrating who I am on the road to become.
Right.
You know, we're both actually on that same path of becoming financially free.
Yeah.
And that's a way to celebrate yourself because you know that you're there, you're ready and willing to take the steps that it takes to be at your best.
Exactly. And I mean, you just spoke to it 1,000% on the same things that she does. I do.
I'll dab to that.
Yeah. So dabs together. Right. Can we do this?
1, 2, 3.
That, but it also shows that you're committing to yourself, right? It also shows that you're taking a moment to say, Helen, I commit to you. Or I'm taking a moment to say, Danita, I commit to you.
Yeah. I was going to say yes, but then it like turned into yeah. Commitment. Committing to yourself. I can tell you for one, I had the biggest problem with commitment. Commitment has been a huge issue. I'm just going to tell everybody right now because you're going to read my book anyways, okay? I talk a lot about having commitment issues. And when I started to finally come into commitment and trust, it was a profound experience, and I realized that I had to start trusting myself and committing to myself in order to understand what that really feels like before I can tell anybody else or demand it from anybody else, you know, to give me that.
You're also taking risk with yourself too. Because you're saying, I trust me. I trust me. I'm risking what I'm doing because I trust me.
How are you going to ask other people to commit to you when you can't commit to yourself?
Exactly.
If you got goals posted up, like let's get on some tough love right now. And this is just some stuff I say to myself. You're going to demand this dude to be trustful and not cheat on you and not tell you lies and not talk to other girls. Same thing with the guys and their girls, not do this to that, in relationships. But yet you've got all these goals that you've got listed and you haven't got one fulfilled in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You got commitment. You got commitment issues. That didn't go as well as planned as I thought.
You got to commit to yourself. I mean, you have to submit to your future you. If you can't submit to your future you, you're just saying that you're not ready for that mission. And I think it's really hard to build relationship when you have a trust foundation that's just falling apart and crumbling underneath you. Right. But that's why we're talking about committing today, because it's so easy to do. It really is. What would you say?
I would say it's the level of easy to hard is based on who you are as a person, what you've done as far as building yourself and your self-growth. Because I mean, I've been on this path for a while, so it's becoming easier.
Yes.
But back in the day, it was very, very, very challenging, very hard.
Yeah.
And like I said, hormones have a big play in this and dictating your emotions. And your emotions are going to be, you know, the potion that picks you up or drops you down. So you want to commit to yourself in a way that you're going to make it how do I say this? you want to commit to yourself in a way that you are going to follow through with it.
Right.
And not overcommit.
Right.
And
So
I just
small.
want to backtrack for a second when I was talking about the relationships, you know, I'm
Yeah.
not saying if they cheat on you that, and you've got trust in yourself that, you know, that's where you went wrong. Let's just scratch that. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? It was metaphor.
Let's be accountable for a
as an
second.
Right. Don't blame me that they did that to you.
Let's be accountable for a second. You truly do need to commit to yourself. And then you can also, when you have that experience of committing with yourself, you can give that to somebody else. So you're, because you know, well, I have me under control, right? You're not freaking out because they did something, because you know what your worth is and you know what you're capable of. When people get to see how you're treating yourself, they understand how to treat you. And it's just that simple. So you have to show commitment to yourself so that others will show commitment to you.
Yes. And do it. Don't just talk about it.
Be about it. I love that.
So, yeah. So let me just say a few things before we start to wrap this up. I want to mention a few upcoming events
Yeah.
real quick.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yes. So there's a few things going on. We have the Wild Woman Holiday Retreat. It was going to happen in San Diego, but it has recently been changed to a new location in Prescott, Arizona. We just had some things, some turbulence, and we wanted to make sure that we still committed to the project. So it is now in Prescott, Arizona. It's an all-inclusive retreat, and it's in a beautiful cabin area. It's going to be a little bit cold, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be holiday feel, warm and fuzzy, and we're going to have the same activities, you know, booty yoga, cacao ceremony, divine feminine, Reiki. But we're also going to implement a lot of sound healing. We're also going to throw in some holiday fun stuff. So like a onesie.
Oh my gosh.
And we're going to do a holiday gift exchange.
Yes.
So this is going to be a lot more intimate because it is a full weekend.
Right.
So if you're coming to connect with, or you want to come and connect with sisterhood and really make some impactful relationships, this is where you want to come, and it's totally affordable right now. And we have a 2-for-1 special. So
oh my gosh, that's amazing. 2 for 1.
2 for 1, girl.
You guys need to be getting this right now.
Yeah.
Call all your friends,
And
knock it down.
We do also have we've got 2 more I want to mention. And 2019, we are going to bring the Wild Woman Helen back to Wallapies, Arizona. This will be our second annual camping retreat. It was so successful last year, so we're going to do it again this year, and we've already booked the time. So it's going to be April 25th through the 28th.
Yes.
Put it in your calendars.
Yes.
And we'll have all that information up on me and Sarah Gypsy Wolf's website very soon.
Very good.
We do have another big one coming up, which is really huge for us. This is going to be an Alaska retreat, Wild Woman Alaska. And this is actually going to be a limited edition, limited offer, because this is we're only allowed to take 6 women with us.
Right.
And we've partnered up with some very awesome tour company in Alaska who has helped us set this up. So everything's already in place. Now we're just going to get everybody registered. So we can't wait for those 6 lucky women to join us. It's
oh my gosh, that's
amazing.
Gonna be so exciting.
Again, everything that we offer here, except it's going to be Alaska. We're going to do some hikes, some kayaking, maybe some whale watching. It's going to be phenomenal.
You guys, I can't tell you enough about how important it is to go to these events.
Yes.
It is life changing.
Absolutely.
Which I know all of us need. So
yeah, and I shout out to one of my friends. She's actually having her first retreat over in Rocky Point, Mexico. So Adriana Harwood, if you want to find her on Facebook, Adriana Harwood, she's offering a Mexico retreat this October, November, I believe. I don't remember the exact dates, but if you're wanting to go there, somewhere warmer instead of the cabin with us, you've got 2 options, hot or cold. Take your pick, but show up.
Bring your friends.
Make it happen. Absolutely.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just can't wait for all these events to come around and for you guys to see it in person.
And so we're going to wrap this up by what we end with all the time, and this is going to be, for anybody out there who's suffering with suicide. Me and Danita both lost somebody really important to us a year ago. And we want to send a message out there to anybody who is struggling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to give them the hotline or anything like that? Or
I don't have the hotline.
okay, I thought it was like 1-800, but since we don't have the line, we'll just put it at the end of the video.
The hotline in the
yeah. Okay.
Well, but we do want to tell you that, you know, do your best to stay spiritually fit. Surround yourself with good people.
Yes.
If you don't have good people, take the step to go to retreats, workshops, church groups. The fellowships are out there. You've just got to take the step to do it. And you might be drowning. You might be tired. You might be exhausted and feeling like you don't want to do anything. Make an effort. Make a tiniest effort, baby steps to get there. And trust me, you'll get through this. You've got to trust the process. You've got to feel through those feelings like it's a dark forest that you're running through.
Yes.
And you will make it to the end. Check in with your hormones. Your hormones may be slipping on you. They may be dictating you in a path that you don't want to be in. So maybe take a look at those and see if you need some extra vitamins that can help you carry you through.
I say it's always a good point to recognize a community of individuals that are doing something that you're not already doing. So if you have friends that are in the same slump as you, then step out to get one friend that's doing something different where you want to see yourself go, because that's a person that you can talk to, and they can help you in getting to another fellowship community where you can just get outside of the box or outside of that group of individuals that you hang out with.
Yes.
You just need a small little change.
And if this podcast has touched you in any way, you have any questions, please leave your comments below, or you can email us at sexyfreedomnow@gmail.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sexy Freedom Media, and
Instagram.
Our our Instagram is going to be Sexy Freedom Media, and you can find us more on the retreats on Wild Woman Retreats and my website, sexyfreedom.com.
Yeah.
There's so much sex in there.
I'm glad she remembers all of that.
Yes. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
We can't wait to see you guys next time.
Woo!
Find us on iTunes,
Frecuencia
Apple,
alterna,
and
en
you can also
fin,
find us on
música
Anchor.
para todos tus sentidos.
Stay wild, tribe.
Adios, adios. Is it still going?